So I did a short version of this video on my TikTok, but I wanted to really actually read what I wrote down. Um, this spawned because um, a couple of dreams, and then um, last night I was doing my reading for the astrological new year and the spring equinox, and love was a huge like theme, and I'm just like, and it was so funny when the cards laid out, I just burst into laughter. And it's typically what happens. I'll burst into nervous laughter as if I don't desire love, when love is just, I love love. I honestly do. Um, but I realized in writing this morning and then sitting at my altar, there was a piece of me that is still afraid of love. Our heart has hurt, and there was a part of me that was still hurt. Even, and it's not just romantic love, like a lot of the love hurt comes from friend love. Like a lot of it is friend love. And I just remember this morning sitting at the altar, and I wrote the message down before the altar happened. And what I ended up doing was sitting there crying and just saying I love you. I said I love you to everybody. Like I just called out names of friends, and called out names of people who I'm not friends with. And what I got to one person's name, and not only did I cry out, I love you, but I miss you. And then the sobbing began. And I said, that's where that hurt pain is. That's where it is. Or it was anyway. Is that I had not acknowledged a desire, not a desire, but the fact that I miss them. I've dreamt about them a few times, um, but I hadn't really like sat with the fact that I miss this person. I hadn't allowed myself to continue the grieving process so that I could move into the acceptance and healing process. I was just hurting. Um, and so this morning I let myself cry about it, which I hadn't done. I don't think I had cried about it in over a year. Um, and this isn't a romantic love. This is a friend. So this is what I wrote down. So I'm going to be looking down because I'm going to read what I wrote. So since I'm reading, let's put some eyes on so I can see. Before I write about my day, I just had a thought. Love is part of your spiritual journey. Love is the highest vibrational energy. Love is truth. Love is God. It's in those blissful moments of love we are most connected. The feeling of universal oneness makes sense in those moments. Rejecting love is rejecting the part of your journey that brings you closer to the Creator. As much as self love is the foundation of our life, our connections to others is also an integral part of our journey. The wounds of loss can put blocks around your heart and hinder you from having the types of connections you are meant to have in order to grow. So you keep replaying the same story until you, I'm trying to read my handwriting. Oh, until you acknowledge the block, the sadness, and thus the lesson you are meant to learn. It is not trivial to decide you want love and friends. It's the main reason you are here. All these many parts of God, I'm trying to read. Oh, all these many parts of God trying to come back together, like puzzle pieces making specific tapestries in Earth's energetic field. I have been in a place of resistance regarding love out of fear of having my heart broken, judging myself for quote unquote failed relationships they didn't fail. I learned something from each one, and the richness of those lessons is I'm seeing unfold more clearly as I allow myself to love, simply love. No attaching to rules or expectations, but love. I become closer to the light in myself. In truth, that's all I want is to love and be love. It's deep and it's powerful. All my most potent energy is around love and creation. And when I allow myself to be free flowing, my spiritual connections are richer. Don't reject love and friends. Learn the lessons of your wounds. Each connection is meant to touch you. Some classes are short seasons, some are lifetime. All are significant, all are love. Flow with love and watch yourself shine. So, and I want to add on to that. I keep always see something like no new friends or my friends, I only have friends that are this way. And I always say this and is a challenge not only to myself and to others, but how much of that is a wound speaking? When you say no new friends, you're closing yourself off to new experiences and new connections, new bonds, new ways of learning. And I want new friends. I want new connections. I want to continue to learn through meeting new and interesting and exciting people. Discernment is not a wall. I said that at my altar this morning. Discernment is not meant to be a wall. Discernment simply means it's a lens for which you can see whether this is a connection for you or not for you. It doesn't mean you have no connections. It just means you are aligning to the connections that are for your highest and greatest good. If the connection ends up triggering you in some way, and I wish there's things like people don't trigger, you allow yourself to be triggered. You are supposed to allow yourself to see the part of yourself that wants to be healed. The triggering is a sign that is telling you there is some piece of you that needs healing. There's some part of you that still feels a way about something that you haven't addressed. Otherwise, the triggering wouldn't happen the way that it does. Our healing process is lifelong. That's why for our entire lives, we're going to have all these different connections, all these different relationships, all these different ways of love expressing itself in our life that allows ourselves to grow and be the fullest potential of ourselves. If all of us are aspects of God, every person, every being, every connection is an aspect of God. When we all come together, there's just all these pieces of God rejoining, reconnecting, and being in a place with each other. When you think about it like that, that is a much more beautiful way to see a connection. And understanding that there are some people who are meant to come into this world and quote unquote hurt you because your soul said, I need to learn how to deal with dot dot dot. So in order to deal with it, I have to experience it. But when you've learned it, you need to acknowledge, okay, I acknowledge this. I'm going to get off this particular hamster wheel. I don't need to go through this cycle again. I don't need to continue to reliving the past. I don't need to do that. And what happens is then you have richer and more fulfilling and more loving connections with people. And then you keep telling yourself, I want to have the richness of these connections. I want the love. It's not that I lack love. I desire even more love. I love myself and I want all the love that of myself, because if we're all one, all the love I'm calling to myself is simply more of my own love. So I'm loving myself and I'm loving all these other aspects of myself that are in my life and in my circle. So open yourself up to love and stop regurgitating, oh my gosh, this hurt, that pain, this wound, nobody's going to support my business. You're right, because that's what you keep saying. Your friends and your family won't support your business because that is what you keep calling to yourself. No one that knows you is going to share your post because that is the energy that you keep calling to yourself. Everyone who is meant to see, share, enjoy, and support my business is going to support me. Everyone. Absolutely everyone. I'm not limiting it to anyone. I'm not limiting it to strangers. I'm not limited to the friend. Everyone that is meant to support me will. Everybody that's meant to find me will. I have to believe that. I have to have faith in that and understanding that bit by bit, I'm building this really strong foundation so that when my windfall happens, it doesn't knock my foundation over because I wasn't ready for it. I don't even remember what the last thing I said was, because my son came in here. But mom life, man. Um, Short version ends on this note. Stop rejecting love. Stop rejecting connection. Stop continuing to self hex yourself, put all this bad energy around yourself because you keep focusing on the negative. Stop. Stop sharing the memes. Stop saying them in your posts. How about you write your story in a different way and keep writing it until you see it come to fruition? And on that note, I'm going to go because I got to go fix the TV.